Well, this is Laity Sunday. And welcome. Laity Sunday is always celebrated in October in the Methodist Church. We celebrate the lay people who are the people in the pews, you and me, and you guys. This is a Sunday which lay members plan and participate in the worship service. A lay person is simply a non-ordained member of the church or a member of the congregation, you and me. I did find some fun synonyms which may describe a lay person. See if you identify with one or any of these. A Sunday driver, a novice, an apprentice, a dabbler, I think that's me, a recruit, a learner, a believer, a follower, or hopeful. Did you find your description? Yeah? Okay. Now, this day allows a moment for lay people of all ages, you just saw all ages, to pause and consider again their own unique call to spread the gospel of Jesus Christ. It recognizes you and me as servants of all believers, a concept that was modeled perfectly by Jesus when he washed the dust from his disciples' feet. So if you and I, the lay people of this church, do not participate, where would we be? I have a little true story to tell you about some lay people from these particular pews, and this is how it goes. 21 years ago this month, my fiance then, Michael Emmons, and I had an appointment at Church on the Cape to speak with the pastor about holding our wedding ceremony right here. And we just had our anniversary on Wednesday. 20 years. We were greeted by a casually nice-dressed gentleman who led us down a dim hallway to the room that we now call the Parlor of Peace. He asked us to take a seat in front of an office desk that was placed diagonally in the corner, this corner right here, just inside the door. We thought the nice gentleman was then going to leave and find the minister, who must be getting into his robe and stole and whatever we thought ministers wore on a daily basis. Don't they? But then he strolled around the other side of the desk and sat down, and he said, "I knew it." "Welcome, Wendy and Michael, to Church on the Cape. My name is Sherwood Treadwell." So that hour passed by like it was a minute. He could obviously tell we had not gone to church since we were small children, obviously, and knew absolutely nothing about what we wanted, needed, or should have in a ceremony. But he made us feel so welcome and comfortable, and we knew that we had made a wonderful choice in Church on the Cape. Thank you. Look at the support I get from this choir. Reverend Treadwell invited us to church anytime we wanted to come. Well, I was there the very next Sunday. Michael was lobstering. My 4-year-old nephew and sidekick every Sunday, if you remember Nicholas, gladly tagged along. When we entered the church that morning, we quickly grabbed a seat way in the back. Right, Jerry? And noticed that there were maybe 35 to 40 people total in the pews. These lay people would soon become a very important part of my life. They would become my church family. So, anyway, in these pews sat Louise and Joe Fairfield, Lillian and Carl Bartlett, Marie and Dana Campbell, Eleanor Seavey, Virginia and Tom Bradbury, Dick Falls, Marjorie Ridlin, Harriet Eaton, Marjorie Eaton, Debbie Matthews, Drusilla Landry, Prudence Wills, Ruth White, and a variety, of course, of Hutchins and Seavies, just to mention a few. Can't mention all of them. Then we noticed the incredibly handsome group sitting in the choir loft. Harrison Seavey tenor, Hal Wright bass, Eleanor Whitehouse soprano, Mary Lou McClelland alto, and Jane Anderson alto. All of the voices were covered, barely. Then there sat the clincher behind the organ, the music man of the Kennebunks, the great encourager. Whom am I speaking of? Yes, Mr. McClellan, my grade school music teacher and the pure person who ignited my desire to sing and perform and probably cry all the time. Can you guess where I was sitting the next Sunday? Right over there. You probably wonder why I tell you this particular story about these particular folks. Is because these are the lay people who said, if we build it, they will come. Amen. Amen. The guidance of Sherwood, under the guidance of Sherwood Treadwell, these wonderful and faithful people put the first edition on the church. It was scary and taking a chance, but new people came. We grew and kept growing. We were doing wonderful things, and the choir grew too. We added Audrey Bauman, Bob Sterling, Jean Emborg, Mary Krause, Weedy Falls, and Jim Rooney. We were a pretty close-knit group. If not for Reverend Treadwell and this small group of parishioners, I don't know if Church on the Cape would exist today. Those lay members allow us to sit in these pews today, and I'm so amazingly grateful and proud to have been part of their team. Now, being a small group, these folks were on 3, 4, and sometimes 5 committees at a time, right, Tom? And as I look around these pews this morning, I see many, if not most of you, who serve this church in some capacity and totally selflessly. Hours and hours of service without even giving it a second thought. I recently read the number of people in the church involved in ministry determines the greatness of the church. This is a really great church. But wonder if those doors had closed 22 years ago, and these beautiful stained glass windows that you see with the sun shining through had been boarded up, and the clock stopped. Wonder if Reverend Treadwell had not said yes to Carl Bartlett, right, Lillian? When he begged him to come here and revive this church. Wonder if those 35 to 40 lay people whom I first saw on my first Sunday had given up, not trusted, not believed, or had the vision, did not have the vision to grow our church on the Cape. What would be missing in your life? Wonder if we didn't have the chance to request our favorite hymn during hymn sing. That would be horrible. Or hear Jan on the organ, Nancy at the piano, wherever she went, or be mesmerized by our violinist, Susan. Amen. Wonder if the choir was silent. Wonder if there were no amazing and thought-provoking sermons from our pastor, Ruth and Penny. And wonder if we couldn't buy Harriet Eaton's delectably delicious carrot cake at our ship's cargo fair every July. It's not even a laughing matter. Wonder if there was no cargo shop, which has served our community well over 50 years. And wonder if we couldn't see Michael Kelly's welcoming face every Sunday as we walk through those doors. Wonder if there was no outreach or anyone to buy warm socks for our homeless brothers and sisters in Portland. And wonder if we didn't celebrate our Christmas Eve candlelight service, which happens to be my favorite. Wonder if we couldn't hear the patter of our children's feet above us every Sunday as Pastor Ruth gives her sermon. And wonder if Ellen Doubleday had been alone and not here at Church on the Cape when she suffered her heart attack. And most of all, wonder if there was no spirit and love and fellowship and sharing and caring that pours out of every crevice of this little church on the Cape, not only on Sunday, but every day of the week. Wonder if. Amen.